Hi guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you very much for listening to this YouTube channel. September 4, Monday, our market closed higher today, up 33.62 points or up 0.54% to close at 6,214.68. Value turnover ballooned to 10.99 billion pesos. No? So this morning there's a lot of transactions. There's a lot of going on with MPI. No, so MPI had a big value turnover at around 5.4 billion pesos. No, this push MPI as the most active stock ahead of the tender offer deadline on Thursday. No? So some brokerage they already placed their deadline today. So hindi na pwede makabenta, no? And of course, what's going on with MPI? Why it surged above tender offer price? Of course, we don't know, no? Uh, like what I said, the tender offer price or the tender offer of MPI uh, has this issue with the 95% threshold. No? So based from the old delisting rules, the company has to get at least 95% of the total outstanding shares. No? With PSE revising the tender offer or the delisting rule, I'm not sure if this will apply to MPI kung aabot man, no? But the problem with the 95% there is SSS and GSIS. These government financial institutions own at least 6%. No? Kung sinabi nila no deal with the tender offer price, then the tender offer will fail, no? Or the delisting will fail, no? Eh sinabi kasi ni Manny Pangilinan before, all or nothing 'yan, no? The delisting, no? He wants to tender because he has this intention of delisting MPI, no? So to unlock the value of MPI. Also today's disclosure, they clarified that also they're preparing for the IPO of Maynilad, one of their subsidiaries. They're valuing Maynilad at 200 billion pesos and they plan to raise as much as 50 billion pesos. That's too big for a utility, no? Sa bagay, tubig nga eh, no? Water, too big. Diba? By raising 50 billion pesos, it's dwarfing Manila Water. Oh, Manila Water at current prices is just around 50 billion pesos market cap. No? Of course, when doing an IPO, they plan to raise as high as possible, as much as possible. No? Given this kind of market, I'm not really sure how the market would anticipate such big offerings. Si Prime Infra nga, dinelay nga nila eh. No? And si SM Rate, which is the biggest rate of them all, no, is also delaying their IPO. Of course, this is what you call testing the market. They plan to raise 50 billion pesos or $1 billion and they're just looking for reactions to the market. Tapos, that's too much. And they will slice the offer. Oh, they will slice the offer by probably half, no? Raising close to 25 billion pesos, no? Start with a big number tapos pakonti na pakonti yan, no? Of course, they need to do an IPO before their legislative franchise expire on 2027. Still have enough time. But I don't know who's leading this IPO ni Maynilad, no? Sino yung mga underwriters? There's no details yet, no? LMG was put on a trading suspension the past 2 months. No, it was lifted today. No, as they canceled their takeover of Maxwell Infinity, which is backed by Alfonso Huang of OKBet. No, and e-wallet Ipon. No, of course, yun, walang nag-react. No, there's no transaction. No. Tomorrow, I think inflation numbers will be out. We're looking at close to 5%. No? So at least it looks like na hindi na tayo maakyat, but the devastating effect of the recent typhoon might have an impact on September's inflation. No? Of course, the price ceiling on rice is a temporary measure, no? At least to help government manage prices amid the report of hoarding and smuggling, no? So effective na siya tomorrow, no? By the way, MPI also signed a partnership with a Malaysian rail services provider, at least to develop a rail infrastructure in the Philippines. Of course, this is also one of the subsidiaries na gustong ilist ni Manny Pangilinan in the future, the Metro Pacific Toll Roads, no? And MVP is also looking to acquire the stake of Ayala in LRT should they decide to sell, no? Of course, Ayala is looking to unload some of their non-core business. No, they started with selling that MCX to Villar and of course LRT, which they acquired during the time of the late Noynoy Aquino. No, so ngayon they're slowly unloading. So they really want to focus on electric vehicles, renewables, and their core business. No. Speaking of ASEN, no, they signed a shareholders agreement with Silver Wolf Capital. Just FYI lang naman, no. So Aboitiz Power is also planning to explore nuclear technologies in US and Canada, no. So Department of Energy also awarded around 77 offshore wind energy contracts to date with a potential capacity of 60 gigawatt as 8 contracts to develop ocean tidal and wave energy projects, no. So ABA, no? So the board also approved a tender offer, a buyback program because they believe uh, their stock price is so cheap, no? So it's up to you how you will digest that news. Of course, it's cheap because no one wants them, diba? You know, but it's still trading below book value. Of course, there's some issues with that, no? So from 2 pesos it collapsed, no? It's now trading 1 peso and 20 centavos around that price. Uh, of course, the target delisting ni MPI is on October 9 and there's some clearly inflow in Bloomberry. Speaking of Bloomberry, there's a sales note from a foreign brokerage comparing a listed gaming company to Bloomberry but with dividends, no? Smaller size lang daw but with dividends, no? So that's the blind item there, no? So ano implication nito, no? There might be some movement or inflow in the next coming weeks, no? So let's see, no? They're featuring that, no? Ganun naman sa market natin. So the market is looking for outlier or an alpha play. No? Inflation numbers will be out tomorrow, and of course, the price cap on rice also starts tomorrow, September 5, with retail prices cap at 41 pesos per kilo for regular milled rice and 45 pesos per kilo for well milled rice. Of course, this is well below the current market prices, which is hitting record highs in recent weeks, no? So this is a band-aid solution, of course, no? Anyway, our passcode for today is rice, no? Yan yung topic right now, masyado mainit. Luka Doncic is already in Manila to play, no? Speaking of ano, no, some disclosures recently is PHA, no, Agosto Serafica, no, filed charges of estafa against their existing board, no. So the way I see it, there's two factions fighting, no, the old group and the new group, no. And Tito Serafico was booted out of his company recently, no. So the current directors filed estafa against Tito Serafica and Marvin de la Cruz over charges with regards to that BGC project, and in retaliation, Tito Serafica filed charges against the current board, no. I find it funny na yun nga is not filing against Marvin de la Cruz, no, which supposedly should have taken over PHA, no? But of course we all know it failed, no? So it looks like na yun they're just delaying what is sayang yan, no. Frutas also had some private placement of preferred shares unlisted, no? So Lester Yu is raising at least putting some uh, money sa company, no? And medyo maganda naman yung dividend yield niya, no? It's unlisted, it's private, sa kanya lang naman yun, no? So there's a minimal impact, 2 pesos and 25 2%, 2.25% per annum, no? Not much, no? It's his way of infusing cash sa company, no? What else? Abacor, not much of Frutas, Monde, Asian, JGS, MPI, no? So again, thank you very much for listening. Stay safe. Bye.